And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with a little less of a voice. A lot of yelling this weekend. Mostly good, but a little bit of bad with the MMA weekend. So sorry about my voice being a little gone here, but we've got the Contender Series tomorrow, and I've got some tape that I've just finished studying and definitely have some thoughts on the Contender Series this week. Again, apologize for the voice. I'll try to keep it, somewhat clear as I can here. Take some water when I can. But good weekend at MMA, all things considered. Very up and down. Roller coaster of a weekend. We did pretty well with the Bellator, Cage Warriors as well. Shout out to Oban Elliott and many other cashes there. Sam Creasy, a big cash for us as well. Contender Series this week, very, very close. I think the closest so far of the 4 weeks matchup wise. So I expect to see several underdogs. Myself, I have several underdogs on my card that I'm going to go through. Timestamps in the description. Sorry about the voice, but hey, 4 events in MMA, including an awesome Fury yesterday. Fury was super fun on Sunday. Another Fury this upcoming Sunday. I'll do my best to put out a video for that as well. Timestamps in the description. Let's jump into these 5 fights. Loving the Contender Series being back, and we're starting out with a fantastic fight at 155, starting and ending with 155. Actually, this is a really good fight here. Nazim Saitokov out of Sarah Longo. He's been with CFFC as well as Fury. Very good organizations he's been coming into this fight. Very, very hyped up. And rightfully so. Very entertaining guy, very well-rounded, long as well. Going against a fellow, will I be doing the UFC in no fibs? Yes, UFC will be back, Justin. I was on vacation till Thursday of last week. I had 4 breakdowns to do in 2 days, and so the UFC one did end up getting axed. I was on Cheeto Vera inside the distance, 3, 4, and 5, and the circus was in town. Shout out to Priscilla Cachoeira. Getting another knockout, Moyes. I know you love that. 2 of the 3 circus acts were in town. Loopy apparently was part of that carousel, as Moyes says. But starting out at 155, Nazim Saitokov taking on Ahmed, Suhail, Hassan Zada, 9-1, Team Alpha Male versus Sarah Longo here. So very high quality guys here. Hassan Zada out of Afghanistan. Kabul, Afghanistan, still only 26 years old, 6'1", 74-inch reach. He's been training on Team Alpha Male for a little over a year now. Came off of a very, very interesting win in LFA back in February over James Wilson. Very, very good wrestler. James got him down. James had him, was on top of him, but it was the bottom work of Hassan Zada that, yeah, of course, no problem, Justin. And it was the groundwork of Hassan Zada from the bottom that won him 2 of 3 rounds. And, you don't see that too often, but really, really busy off the bottom. Good ground game overall. You see the rear naked chokes on his record. Hasn't faced a great level of competition. That's the first thing that's very concerning for me in this spot here. He was stopped in 2 minutes in his 1 loss back in December of 2019. Since then, 4 straight wins, 3 finishes, mostly on the ground. But, he does have good long striking as well. I'm a little worried about his willingness to go to the ground. I do think that's a dangerous game he plays and does make me nervous. But, again, James Wilson, a very accredited wrestler, showed up with a very good game. And the way that Hassan Zada was able to neutralize that, I think could show up once again here with Nazim. And I think on the feet, it's very close. But Brooklyn, New York, Longo Weidman MMA here. He's won 6 straight since losing his pro debut. Got rear naked choked in his pro debut by an 0-0 fighter. But since then, 6 straight wins. Most of them coming with CFFC, and then the last 3 with Fury. 2 knockouts in his last 2. Not the best level of competition he has been facing either. Joe Borshag is he's a veteran, but that's about it. Other than that, Elijah Harris was a good win early on in his record. Elijah Harris did have quite a bit of success in that fight as well. And I think this could kind of look similarly. Hassan Zada, I think the keys for Hassan Zada is not to accept that ground position too much, because that is putting a lot of faith in the judges. I do think that if his takedown defense is there on the feet, I think this could get very, very competitive. And as a result, I am going with Ahmed Hassan Zada. I said I have quite a few dogs tonight. I think this is going to be a very close, highly competitive matchup here. I think both guys are going to, give it their all. I've been doing the over-under as well. I would lean towards the over 2.5 if I had to edge towards the side. I don't have the number, but I do think this goes the distance here. Very good matchup. I'm going with Hassan Zada. Quite surprised when I saw the odds, but I get Nazim has had a lot of fights on Fight Pass out of Sarah Longo. I get it, but I also think that the line is quite off here in a very, very close fight, and I like Hassan Zada. He opened at plus 150. He's now at a plus 175, so a little money has come in on Nazim. Nazim at minus 200. So my first pick of the night is an underdog, and Hassan Zada out of Team Alpha Male here should be a really good fight. Very good matchup here of these two. Next fight, women's bantamweight fight here. Haley Cohen making her Contender Series debut here. Definitely familiar with Haley throughout her career. Former gymnast as well, very athletic. Taking on the Brazilian Claudia Leite here. Claudia is 7-2. Haley 6-2. All hail is her nickname. 25 is the 30-year-old Haley out of Blitz Sport. 5'8" Haley is, so she's a couple inches taller than Claudia. Claudia, though, is going to be the noticeably thicker of these two fighters. Claudia, in general, likes to make her cage control, put a lot of cage presence, work for the takedowns, establish her top game. She has a very heavy top game. She's tough to get off of you. Tends to fight the fights at her pace. Has faced a pretty low level of competition. Her last two were better, with Rosilda de Souza going to a decision there. Pretty close fight, but throughout handled that decision, kept a good pace. And then the Tanya Lemoynier fight, that was also with Cyborg's organization. The last two were. And she just wore her down the first 4 rounds, kind of rinse and repeat, getting those takedowns, wearing her, down, and then eventually got the rear naked choke at the end of the 5th round. That was her first submission of her career. In general, gets the top control and uses ground pressure. She's definitely a good size for the bantamweight division. I think that her strength in the smaller octagon could be in her favor. Haley is a little bit taller, more athletic, needs to rely on her range and movement for sure. And I think those could be a little bit of trouble for her. She's had trouble in the past with this as well. Losing to Kelly Clayton, a 1-2 fight with LFA by guillotine choke. Kelly just kind of used her physicality there. I think that could kind of be in the cards as well here. Other loss coming to Victoria Leonardo in their pro debut back in 2018. She's been down at flyweight before. I do think the size and the thickness of Claudia is the difference here. So as a result, I think that Claudia keeps this pretty competitive. I think it's going to be very, very close. It goes to a decision. I like Claudia Leite to take the decision win here. So another over 2.5 for me, and another underdog for me. Claudia plus 105. She opened at minus 110. Slight amount of money came in on Haley Cohen. To be expected. Haley is the more familiar name here. Definitely been more hyped up. I just think that I do think Claudia is able to use her weight and make Haley wear down and takes the decision. I don't think it will be a super exciting fight. Claudia asked her fight team. We've seen a few fighters out of that fight team at this point. I'm going with the underdog once again, Claudia Leite. Next fight, another one that's very, very close and a very interesting fight here. The long-awaited Contender Series fight for Jack Cartwright. Definitely been kind of a controversial last couple of years for this UK fighter who has quite a bit of hype, but just his last fight, headbutts came into account. It just wasn't his best showing. I think kind of cooled a lot of people, and then he's been off for a while. But 10-0, 28 years old, taking on the younger 27-year-old Jose Johnson, already on the Contender Series once, 14-7. This guy's got a really entertaining, interesting record. 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach for him. Long, lengthy Muay Thai style striker. Last 2 wins over a very good level of competition. Mo Miller giving him his first loss and getting a triangle finish in that fight. Very, very impressive. And then Dulani Perry last time out with both of these with Fury, getting the knockout very quickly on. So, Jose Johnson back in his groove after the Mana Martinez loss on Fury, and the Ronnie Lawrence just absolutely getting schooled by Ronnie Lawrence, out wrestled. No shame there. Just look over and over again, really high level of competition. Bipe Vargas, Rafael Costa. We've seen Rafael Costa come back, look very, very strong. Armando Villarreal back in the day. Levi Malls, Casey Jones, Cody Freeman. I mean, he's been testing himself since starting in his day, his career. Michael McDonald, the name from way back in the day. Ramsey Beard, his last loss. Charles Johnson. I mean, he's been around, man, and he's faced a high level, still in 27 years old. 26 amateur fights in his career. Carlos Hernandez, all sorts of names throughout the career, though, really testing himself. For me, this is a great, great fight. Two very high-level guys. I think both guys deserve to be here. Jack Cartwright has been impressing me with Cage Warriors for quite a while now. 10-0 out of England. Very intelligent fighter, 5'9". So both these guys a little bit taller for this division. The headbutts in his last fight in March of last year, definitely questionable. Didn't look great. The Geraldo Fanny fight really showed me a lot about the level of this guy's grappling. If he's able to work his wrestling, which I do believe he'll be able to, I think he is able to submit Jose Johnson very early on or control him for the majority of the fight. Good Muay Thai as well, good striking, wins over a high level of competition as well. Over the last four, Scott Malone, Marco Kovacic, Manuel Bilic, and Geraldo Fanny, as I said, very good wins there. These guys are going to be ready for each other. I've been waiting for Jack Cartwright's debut over in the States for quite a while. This will be his first fight in the U.S. That is a factor for sure for me. And Jose Johnson's faced a very high level. He's very dangerous, good strikes when he's defending takedowns. But once you get the wrestling going, I think there's a blueprint to beat Jose Johnson. And I do think that Jack's able to fill that. I think he's legit, got the good skills. I think he submits Jose Johnson in this fight. I'm taking Jack Cartwright, and that is another underdog for me. That is 3 straight underdogs to start out the card. It is what it is. I make my reads and I make my picks, then go to the odds. And for me, Jack Cartwright should be the favorite in this spot, and he's not. Jose Johnson looking very sharp over the last couple. Jack's got to get this to the ground, in my opinion. If he doesn't, Jose ends up finishing him. So I do like the under 2.5 for this fight regardless. But Jack Cartwright at plus 110, I got him at plus 105 now. Money has come in on Jack. I'm a little surprised he's not the favorite. Should be a really good fight. I love this card. This card overall is great, guys. I think maybe it only has 2 or 3 contracts because they're closer fights, so I'm not expecting as many finishes, but who knows? These guys are good. Next fight, nonstop action, in my opinion, and I think it's mostly going to be on the feet, so should be pleasing quite a few people. Claudio Ribeiro, the Brazilian, taking on Ivan Valenzuela, the Mexican fighter here, Muay Thai battle here, and I'm super pumped. 30 years old is Claudio. 29 is Bam Bam Ivan Valenzuela. This guy's fun, man. He's really fun to watch. He's a hard hitter, an absolute specimen for the 185 division, very large at 6'2" as well. And 29 years old, 5 straight wins for him. His 1 loss coming to Enrique Grandos Ferreira, and that was definitely a concerning one. He was very Enrique was very physically outmatched and just, kind of grinded. All of Ivan's career has been with Lux Fight League. I'll be honest, the Latin America and Central America middleweight scene, not as high as it should be. His last fight, for example, was against Ricardo Centeno. That was the #1 ranked Latino middleweight at 9-6 at the time. Great fight for how long it lasted. Ivan, you could just see the patience. He's a Muay Thai style striker the first round. He's a little bit too inactive for me. Definitely something that is going to make me nervous in this fight because Claudio comes out and lets it rip right away. He, really brings the fight to his opponent. Lots of leg kicks, hooks, looping shots. For Claudio, he does appear to be quick, but he also leaves himself quite open on a lot of shots. Ivan, to me, is a much more straight, accurate, powerful striker. I think that in the smaller octagon, that could really help him as well. Claudio has a little less room to move, but Brazilian black tie, 5 straight wins, 9-2 overall. Made Kells Albuquerque retire in the 5th round of their fight. Was really beating him up until then. Good body shots, particularly with the leg or with the kicks. Kevin Felipe, a very, very close fight. I personally had it for Claudio and got rear naked choked in his debut. Otherwise, a lot of KOs, a lot of first round KOs. He was able to go into the 5th round in his last fight with Future MMA. I like to see that as well. So level of competition. I do think that Ivan could get out volumed in this spot and could, kind of have trouble kind of catching up to the speed and the movement of Claudio. But I think that eventually Ivan marches him down, gets Claudio against the cage and is able to unload and put him away with strikes. So I'm going to take Ivan Valenzuela to get the knockout in this fight. For me, Claudio more likely to go to a decision. So this is a tougher over-under for me. But I would say the under 2.5 would be my pick for this fight. But I do think it will take Ivan a little bit of time to get that knockout. Really excited, but I see this being one of the fights where we do get a contract. I think both guys will be impressive. Ivan Valenzuela is the slight favorite, -120, opened at -140. A little bit of money has come in on Claudio. So 3 of the 4 fights so far, I'm on the wrong side of the money with regards to the movement, but he is going to be my first technical favorite at -120 against the -105 Claudio Ribeiro. So I do have the slight favorite here in Ivan Valenzuela. Moving on to the main event of the evening. I'm really, really excited about this fight too. There's not a fight on this card I'm not excited about, so I get it. But I've really enjoyed my tape on Thomas Paull and learning about this guy's kind of whole overall story. He's really a fun fighter to watch out of the UK. First and foremost, he is deaf. And so you'll see in all his post-fight interviews, he's got his interpreter there. And you'll see even during fights, like it seems like he's looking over to his corner a little bit. Well, he is. Not something to be alarmed with at this point. But yeah, very, very interesting, hard-hitting, well-rounded fighter. Brings the fight the whole time. He's got a ton of heart. I really have enjoyed watching what I've seen out of this guy. I have Team Underground, BA Army as well. 27 years old, 11-3, taking on the undefeated Argentinian, 26-year-old, 5'10" Esteban Ribovics, El Gringo here. Very exciting guy out of Alpha Team. Undefeated, 10-0. Very prolific finisher as well. He's a striker. You see a lot of KO finishes. Has an inverted triangle finish to start his career. Hasn't faced a great level of competition, a few submissions, but mostly as a puncher, a boxer, coming off of a very quick knockout of Franco Aranda, 27 seconds, overhand right. Rocky, who's that for? Overhand right put away his last opponent. 7-second knockout before that. The Jose Zarrus fight, wasn't able to find that, but I did like that against a high level of competition, going a little deeper there. Esteban, he's a hard hitter. Brings the fight to his opponent. He'll take a shot to give a shot. Very, very tough. Thomas Paull, though, man. This guy, I know he looks like an anime villain here, but the Juggernaut is a fun guy to watch, coming off of a win over Perry Goodwin. Perry Goodwin, a veteran of the game. Don't let the 11-8 record fool you. Cage Warriors veteran, been there with a ton of good guys, Jack Grants of the world and many others. And what Thomas did to him and how quickly he did it to him was extremely impressive and a real statement there. Before that, Demario Said fight, great fight there, handled the pressure well, came back from quite a bit of adversity and ends up breaking his opponent. We've seen in the last couple fights against good level of opponents. The Joe Cummins fight, great fight. That round was great. Joe Cummins just kind of caught Paull making a mistake, came back to his feet. He exposed his neck, and Cummins used those long arms and put him away. But before that, he was putting it on Joe Cummins, and that was a really good performance there as well. mostly a finisher. In fact, he's finished every opponent he's had in his career. This guy will fight for your money. I think he's going to be killed or kill or be killed in this spot. I expected it to probably be a under 1.5 type of line, over under 1.5. I'd say over 1.5, under 2.5. I do see a finish coming here. And as much as I like Esteban, I am edging towards another dog here. I'm edging towards Thomas Paull in this spot, and this might be one that I'm looking back and feeling crazy. I just think he has really good pressure, really good pace, and again, with the price where it's at, I don't think this price is justified. I do. This is one that when I saw the odds, I was quite surprised at how wide it was. It was at plus 270 yesterday. Today, we're at plus 240 for Thomas Paull. I got him at plus 270. Minus 300, Esteban was yesterday, now under the 300 at minus 285. I just don't think Esteban has faced a level of competition that justifies that. I think Thomas Paull is the type of dog I like to bet on, who's going to fight for my money. So I did put a single down on Thomas Paull. I also did put a single down on Hassan Zada, and I did a double parlay on Jack Cartwright and Claudio Leite. So the only one currently that I have yet to bet, but I'll probably bet separately as well, is Ivan Valenzuela. I'm going to have three single bets on underdogs and then the two-piece parlay as well. Three single bets with Ivan being a slight favorite at minus 120, and then Jack Cartwright and Claudio Leite as my dual parlay here. So, I go with my reads. I had 4 underdogs and 1 slight favorite this week. So I think that should let you know about how close these fights are. To me, again, my favorite of the underdogs would be Hassan Zada. I really do like him against Nazim. But I also think that Jack Cartwright and Claudio Leite are very, very good dogs. Ivan Valenzuela, probably my closest fight there with Claudio. And then Thomas Paull, I think he's going to fight for your money. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, including the odds makers on tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. So that's going to do it. Timestamps are going to be in the description. UFC show tomorrow with Lewis of Norton MMA. Wednesday with Lucky Locks, we're covering the LFA. And on one of those shows, I'll add on the PFL quick picks as well, as I will no longer be doing a video fully dedicated to the PFL, and possibly a Fury fight card preview on Friday or Saturday. So keep posted to the channel. We're over 600 subscribers now. Thank you all. I seriously appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me. Yeah, and Valenzuela. And I should check the weigh-ins. I did not check the weigh-ins before this. Everybody just be noted. My mistake. I should have checked those. But Valenzuela, I anticipated was going to be much larger. I think in the smaller octagon, with the kind of sloppiness of Claudio, he's leaving himself open to get taken out. So definitely good to hear that. But seriously, everybody, 602 subscribers. Started this channel less than a year ago. It means a lot to me. I'm not here for clout. I'm here out of passion, and I'm here to help. Hopefully help you guys cash and continue to cash. We're doing well so far on the Contender Series. We're doing well overall in the year. So thank you all for joining me. Timestamps will be in the description. Good luck tomorrow. We got 4 dogs and 1 slight favorite. So we are going to be sweating, but hey, it's what we do. So let's go. Thank you all for the support. Keep taking care of each other out there.